Hello and welcome to another update from Wemblesden Park. As you can see, these didn't work out very well. In fact, this one decided to completely lose the plot and now it won't work anymore. So, out with the old and in with the new. These are the units that I showed in the clip that I posted this morning. These are the standalone units. What I've actually done to these is I've removed the little speaker connections. This one I've hardwired the audio cable straight in, but it was a real pain to get the jack socket off. So with this one, all I've done is I've left the socket on, but I've bent up the little tab that connects the socket to the amplifier. Also on the unit I've got around to fit in the switches. These are for the amplifiers, so these will switch power on individually to the amplifier, so if there's a problem I can disable them. And what's good about this now is if I just switch on that amp, this will now play the minute I hit the power button. There we go. So admittedly they don't look as nice as the old units, but they will work a lot better. And what's really good about these is they will work from a standard 5V supply, so I don't need to modify anything. It's also freed up some space inside the unit. If I just stand it up, that might be a bit easier. As you can see now, there's plenty of space in there. I've tidied up some of the wiring. Okay, so I'm not going to compete with that. I'm going to shut it up. Anyway, I only ordered these yesterday. I'm really impressed with the seller on eBay. They came today. So I've ordered another 5 of these. Plan is to fit, there's going to be one there. There's going to be one up here, like that. And the other 2 are going to be there. So there's going to be 6 of these units fitted in here. These will be wired up to the layout to take the place of the faulty ones, and the other unit will be used as a standalone player for the washer plant. Also in today's post, these have turned up. These are the preset pots for the volume control, so I can finish wiring the amp. And the great bit that's turned up is the cable. So I've got 100 meters of 2-core black and red. This will now wire the speakers up, so I can stop using the rubbishy telephone cable that it's wired up with at the moment. Okay, here's one of the boards as supplied. I'll just lie it down. It's a bit awkward trying to hold the camera and shoot and do stuff at the same time. Right, this is where the speaker normally connects, so that's not actually required. So what I've already done is I've unsoldered them, so they get put aside for further use. And the other thing, if the camera will pick it up, this is a stereo jack socket which will allow you to connect the unit to a line out, to a line in on a stereo. But you notice that there's a switch built in here. This needs to be disabled because this connects the output of one of the channels into this little amplifier chip, and then in the application I'm using at the moment this is not required, so this needs disconnecting. So the simplest way to do it, I've found, is if you take, I'm just going to hold that with my finger, need another pair of hands. If I take that and shove a jack plug in, okay, you can just about make out how it lifts the corner. It's really tricky. You can lift the corner out like that, and you can just get in there with a screwdriver and lift that up. And that's it. That's all the mods that I need to do to this. Okie dokie. All the boards are now being mounted onto the front panel. If I flip the unit over, all the wiring's now in place and heat shrink's on, ready to be mounted back in. Made a couple of silly mistakes, the main one being down here. This is where the card goes in, and if you look at this board here, you see this is a mini USB connector which was actually in the way, so I've managed to take it off the board. I did pull some of the tracks off, but it hasn't made the slightest difference because of the way that the unit works. I've plugged a headphone in and it still plays okay, so I'm not too worried about it. But what it was doing was stopping me from plugging into here, so that's a bit of a muppet moment. Everything else is pretty much ready now to mount into the case. Right, that's the audio unit practically finished. All I've really now got to do is to wire in the speakers. I'm a little bit concerned that the speaker cables might be slightly too thick. It's going to be fun wiring into them connectors. But as you can see, all of the circuit boards are now in place. The top ones are actually playing even though there's no speakers attached. The bottom ones aren't because they haven't got the memory cards in yet. All the wiring inside now is all being tidied up, all nice and neat. There's a little bit of space over there to fit additional boards if I need to. Over here you can see I've now fitted the trimmer pots, and the other trimmer pots are under there for those, so it's just a case of getting everything now set up. In closing, I just want to give a shout out to all of our followers on Facebook. There's a link in the description box below for the Facebook page for Wemblesden Park. Thanks guys for all of your comments and your likes and your support over the past few years I've been building this. And I'd also like to mention the guys over on the BR Blue modelling forum and over on Your Model Railway as well. As ever, if you want to stay in touch with updates and are on the layout, please subscribe to the channel and please share. Until next time, cheerio.